When you're playing it safe, you're not just gambling wisely. You're actually stretching your bankroll further. Imagine being able to enjoy the game longer without the constant fear of a big loss. It's a pretty chill way to play, and it's a strategy that's kept many savvy gamblers in the game for the long haul. It just feels right, you know. Low risk doesn't mean no fun, though. There's a certain satisfaction in knowing you're playing smart. You're not chasing a pipe dream, you're making calculated decisions. Every small win adds up, and though it might not be as flashy, it sure is rewarding at the end of the day. And honestly, who wouldn't want to walk away with a bit more in their pocket and a whole lot less stress? Trust me, as someone who knows the ins and outs of strategy, the thrill of a calculated win beats the heartbreak of a massive loss any day. So, play smart, stay cool, and enjoy the game for what it is. Pass baits and craps are your safest bet, pun intended. Even though craps has a ton of betting options, you don't have to get lost in the complexity. Stick to the basics and you're golden. The fundamental bet here, the pass bet, is straightforward and carries a low house edge at just 1 point for 1%. Bet $10 and win $10. It's that simple. When you're making a pass bet, if the come-out roll hits a 7 or 11, you're in luck, you win. But if it's a 2, 3, or 12, you lose. Any other number rolled becomes your point. The shooter keeps rolling, and if they hit the point number before rolling a 7, you win again. But watch out. If a 7 comes up before that point number does, you lose. Here's a tip from years of knowing how this works inside out. Don't place pass baits after the come-out roll. You can, sure, but it's not worth it. The value of your bet just isn't the same, and you're better off waiting for the next come-out roll. By sticking to these basics, you're minimizing your risk and still keeping the game fun and engaging. Craps doesn't have to be a headache. Play it smart, stay engaged, and enjoy those wins that come with a calculated approach. If you're gunning for the absolute tiniest house edge in craps, then you'll want to look at don't pass baits. It's kinda like flipping the pass bet on its head. On a come-out roll, if the dice hit a 2 or 3, you're sitting pretty with a win. But if it rolls a 7 or 11, you're out of luck. 12 is a push, so nothing happens. Once a point is set, you'll win if a 7 shows up before the point number, and lose if the point rolls out first. With the house edge at a mere 1.36%, it's arguably one of the safest baits you can place. That said, there's a bit of social nuance to keep in mind. Most folks at the table will be rooting for pass baits, so if you're riding the don't pass train, you'll be winning when they're losing and the other way around. This might create a bit of tension or make you feel like the odd person out. Some folks thrive on that, enjoying the contrarian role, while others might find it a bit uncomfortable. Just like pass baits, don't pass baits pay out even money. It's simple and straightforward. Bet $10, win $10. So, if you're okay with potentially going against the crowd, don't pass baits could be your go-to for keeping the house edge at bay. Now we're talking about really boosting those winnings with odds baits. These baits are special because they're genuinely fair. The house doesn't get an edge at all with these wagers. But here's the catch. You can only place odds baits on top of other baits, like your pass or don't pass baits. Even though the house retains a bit of an edge from your initial bet, it's significantly smaller when you add odds baits into the mix. There's usually a cap on how much you can bet on odds, often a multiple of your original bet like 2x, 3x, or even 5x. Going for the maximum odds bet each time you play really amps up your potential winnings and trims out the house edge on the whole package. When you place an odds bet following a pass bet, you're wagering that the point number will come up before a 7 does. Here's how the payouts break down. You get to 2-1 on points of 4 and 10, 3-2 on points of 5 and 9, and 6-5 on points of 6 and 8. On the flip side, when you make an odds bet after a don't pass bet, it's called laying the odds. Here, you're betting that a 7 will come up before the point number. The payouts for laying the odds look like this: 1-2 against a 4 or 10, 2-3 against a 5 or 9, and 5-6 against a 6 or 8. By consistently maxing out your odds baits, you're setting yourself up for better payouts and reducing the house's overall advantage. It's a strategy that, while requiring a bit of extra bankroll, can really make a difference in the long run. So, if you're serious about maximizing your potential, don't overlook those odds baits. Let's talk about come and don't come baits, which are pretty similar to pass and don't pass baits, but with a slight twist. You place these baits any time after the come out roll. Basically, for a come bet, The next roll, after you place your wager, acts as the come-out roll. Now, the rules for winning are identical to pass and don't pass baits. A come bet wins if the next roll, after placing the bet, is a 7 or 11, and loses if it's a 2, 3, or 12. If any other number is rolled, that becomes the come point. You win if the point rolls before a 7, and lose if a 7 comes first. With don't come baits, it's just the reverse. A 2 or 3 wins, a 7 or 11 loses, and a 12 pushes. If a point is established, you win if a 7 appears before the point, and lose if the point shows up first. The odds for come and don't come baits mirror those of pass and don't pass baits. Consequently, the house edge remains the same, providing you with the same probability of winning as you would have with pass and don't pass baits. Whether you're just mixing things up or looking for more betting opportunities during the game, come and don't come baits offer the same strategic advantage. By including come and don't come baits in your gameplay, you keep things interesting and maintain a balanced approach with odds staying on par. So, next time you're at the table, give these baits some thought. They work just as well and add a bit of variety to your strategy. Some baits and craps carry high house edges and should be avoided unless you're simply in it for the excitement of taking a long shot. Put baits and proposition prop baits fall squarely into this risky category. Put baits are essentially the same as pass baits, but with a significant twist. They skip the come-out roll. That means you won't win on a 7 or 11 right off the bat. Since a lot of the pass baits value is tied up in that come-out roll, put baits can come with a house edge as steep as 33.3%. However, there's a bit of a silver lining. You can make odds baits on top of put baits, which can help lower the overall house edge. But it's still a risky move. Proposition or prop baits are even trickier. These baits are essentially gambles on what the next roll of the dice will be. You pick a specific number, and if that number appears, you win. To catch, prop baits are high risk with enticingly high payouts, but they come with a large house edge ranging from about 5% to 17%, depending on the number you choose. Translation: these baits aren't a reliable way to make money. They're more about the thrill and the adrenaline rush of a big gamble. If your goal is to stretch your bankroll and keep your risk as low as possible, then avoiding these high house edge baits is crucial. Stick to the safer baits we've talked about, and only dabble in these risky ones if you're just looking to add some excitement to your game without worrying too much about the financial return.